Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I am Karim Bakshabasi. Today I am speaking for the students of AD third semester. Title of course is Teaching Literacy, and my today's topic is Instructional Strategies for Teaching Vocabulary. Let us first explain what vocabulary is. As far as definition of vocabulary is concerned, you can say that a total number of words available with a child, and he has ability to use it in his conversation. This can be called vocabulary. We are going to I am going to share some tips that must be considered important tips for teachers who are going to teach vocabulary. When students are going to enter into the school, he or she has a size of vocabulary available for him. In this regard, there is an advantage for the native speakers who are going to learn language, who are from Britain or from Canada, from New Zealand, or other native speakers living in different part of the world. When they enter the school, they already have almost 5,000 words available for their daily vocabulary, because these words have been used in their society, in their community, and at their home. So it becomes easy for that child to learn language in the class and to communicate it and to understand the depth of meaning, and teacher are going to introduce vocabulary words to their children easily. But this concept of teaching the vocabulary become difficult for those who are non-native speakers. They are going to learn language as a second language. They don't have such size of vocabulary compared to the native speakers. Their size of vocabulary is smaller, quite smaller compared to the one who is a native speaker. So that's why she has a lot of difficulty to face in the class while learning the vocabulary, and teacher has to take a lot of efforts and trouble to insert words in his memory. We are going to discuss that which are these some of the points which we should do, teachers should do in the class to enhance the vocabulary of students. First of all, we need to consider that all the children have not the same experience of learning the vocabulary. Their family background, because of their family background, because of the size of family, means number of family members, or the child who has different experiences at home of learning the language, second language, and he or she might have been spoken a lot by their parents, other siblings, friends, and family members. So if he has a lot of exposure in listening the vocabulary from all these sources, then there are greater chances for him to learn the vocabulary quicker than the one who has no such facility available at home, who has very little number of siblings to come across, and he doesn't listen from his parents are less educated, his socio-economic condition is not favorable for him to learn language. A great number of vocabulary is taught indirectly. This is one of the instruction a teacher should have for his children. He must keep this thing in his mind, that not all the words are taught directly. What we do, we are going to teach vocabulary directly. We write the word on the board, and we teach it by writing the meaning of the words, and the students are going to cram those words at home, and these such words, they don't become the part of his vocabulary for longer, because they have been directly taught, and they have not been repeated time and again, and they have little exposure to language. Teachers most of the time don't talk to them in English language in the class. They just tell the meaning, and the meaning making process goes on and on. Our translation method continues in the class. That's why our students have low and no vocabulary, and they easily forget the words which they remember. So what is indirect vocabulary teaching? Indirect vocabulary teaching means they are going to learn vocabulary through communication. They have a lot of exposure to listening a language from their teachers in the school, from their friends in the school or outside the school. And this thing has been emphasized, or this thing should be emphasized by the teachers that keep communicating with yourself and with your class fellows and your friends, so that you may retain the vocabulary easily. And they have been given the chance to read books. A lot of vocabulary is learned by reading the books. Books are greatest source of learning the vocabulary. And the other thing is they have a lot of exposure of books. What is, exposure means they read textbooks, they read biographies, they read novels. They have a lot of chance to read at home and in the school, and teacher involves them in communication in the school. They ask them to discuss the topic which they have learned, and the teacher asks them questions, and they have in-depth thinking and responding of the questions which they have been asked by the teacher or their students. So this is the kind of exposure which is required, and if such exposure is not given, again our students will suffer a lot, suffer badly in their coming years, in their future, to learn vocabulary. And this point must be kept in mind, that selecting words, that what kind of words to be selected to teach. We are not going to teach every word. There must be a selection. We must teach more sophisticated words. We must not teach those words which rarely become the part of vocabulary, or which unusually come, or they are not usual. So teacher must be selective in teaching the vocabulary. You see that in today's context, in today's education system, where different Oxford series are taught in the class, and one lesson contains more than 50 and 60 words. So how possible it is to teach 50 and 60 words from one text? And if we multiply this with 15 lessons, then they will run in thousands. So again, this will be the burden for the students to learn vocabulary. They can't remember 50 words. So we must be selective in teaching the vocabulary. We must teach them a beautiful usage of those words, and usage must be from their experience of life. We must not use that word from in the same context, or from the sentence which is already written in the book. So that experience may not be congenial and friendly to the child. So if you are using the word, it should be the part of a student's experience or a student's life, and in using it he will have a lot of fun and charm in using it, because this becomes the part of his memory easily. And sometimes teacher needs to demonstrate the feeling, demonstrate the meaning of the words. Means he should show it. Suppose if we are talking about the word flap, so flap means movements of arm and movement of wings. So teacher must use his arms to teach the word flap. Or if the word is trot, T-R-O-T, so he should tell them by doing it. Trot is a kind of a running, okay, by showing it, by running it, show it to the students that this is the meaning of a trot. So this is the demonstration of a meaning. And other word is draw students' attention to new words. We must use words in, we must draw the attention of the students to the new words by giving them good explanation of it and good definition of it and a synonym of it or antonym of it. And then when students come across with any lesson, he will be interested in finding the new words, because teacher has already given him a good explanation of new words. So he will be curious to learn vocabulary from his teacher, or he will ask the teacher that what will be the meaning of this word or that word. So give them such a beautiful meaning. And take advantage of teachable movements. What is the teachable movement? Suppose a student has already listened the word mash and grinding or chewing, and that child is going to have a lunch or dinner, and his student he is eating something in the in school. So teacher says that you are now grinding it, or you are mashing it, whatever whatever the thing is in your mind, you are mashing it or you are grinding it. So this is teachable movement, means whatever the experience they are doing, teach the vocabulary from that experience, that will easily be the part of his memory. So in this way we can teach vocabulary easily, and the words can easily be retained in his mind. So this was the lecture about instructional strategies of teaching the vocabulary. If all these points are followed by the teachers, students will easily learn vocabulary. Thank you very much. Please subscribe my channel, and you will have more videos on